Gospel and homily for the feast of Christ the King. The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. The people stayed there before the cross watching Jesus. As for the leaders, they jeered at him. He saved others, they said. Let him save himself if he is the Christ of God, the chosen one. The soldiers mocked him too, and when they approached to offer him vinegar, they said, "If you are the king of the Jews, save yourself." Above him there was an inscription, "This is the King of the Jews." One of the criminals hanging there abused him. "Are you not the Christ?" he said. "Save yourself and us as well." But the other spoke up and rebuked him. "Have you no fear of God at all?" he said. "You got the same sentence as he did, but in our case we deserved it. We are paying for what we did." "But in our case we deserved it. But this man has done nothing wrong." "Jesus," he said, "remember me when you come into your kingdom." "Indeed, I promise you," he replied, "today you will be with me in paradise." The Gospel of the Lord. There's a story told about a little boy whose 5-year-old sister had a rare blood disease and needed a blood transfusion. The blood would have to come from a relative with the same blood type, and the little boy was suggested as a logical donor. "Son," said the doctor, "would you give your blood so that your sister can live?" The boy looked surprised, but then said he would do it. The blood was taken, and while he was lying in his cot, the doctor came to see how he was. "Doctor," said he, "when do I die?" Only then did it dawn on the doctor that the little boy thought he had to give all his blood to save his sister. Jesus, of course, was drained of all his blood to save us. Literally, all hell broke loose on Calvary. Jesus was goaded to save himself. The leaders jeered at him. "Let him save himself if he is the Christ." The soldiers mocked him too. "If you are the King of the Jews, save yourself." Even one of the men crucified with Jesus joined in. "Are you not the Christ? Then save yourself and us as well." And the crowd too had a go at him. He saved others, himself he cannot save. But of course, saving himself wasn't the problem, but his mission was to freely and lovingly lay down his life to free us from eternal death. He said to Pilate, "My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, my men would have prevented me being handed over to you. Now, people who want to be part of God's kingdom are not in the business of saving their own skin. They are prepared to freely expend themselves in the service of God and neighbor. We iterate the Lord's own words. He who saves his life loses it. But he who loses his life for my sake, he keeps it for life eternal." Now, in John's Gospel, the cross is a kind of throne where Jesus reigns triumphantly amid all the mayhem going on there. The cross, though cruel and barbarous, of course, in itself, is, for us believers, an object of veneration. Jesus freely goes to his cross. He reminds Pilate that he's laying down his life of his own free will. He is not a victim of circumstances. He has freely chosen to lay down his life with the utter certitude that he will take it up again. He's not dragged kicking and screaming to the cross. He knows the plan of God and has no intention of bowing to the crowd's wishes by spectacularly coming down from the cross. He drinks the cup of suffering to its dregs. For Jesus, the laying down of his life was the defining moment of his mission. He died that we might live. He gave his life to atone for the sins of humanity, making us righteous before the Father and opening the gates of heaven for all who believe in him. Today is the feast of Christ the King. Only those willing and ready to expend their lives for the King will be admitted to his kingdom. Only those who lose their lives in the service of Christ will reign with him. Now, thank you all for listening, and God bless you all.